Ha ha ha.
Besides, the witness has already provided a reason for what she did. To get back at Royal Order for choosing to clone himself instead of being with her. As disconcerting as that may sound, that is the motive we have been given. Unless you can offer something to refute or change it, I suggest you move on.
I still have the sunglasses.
Fine. I just have one more question, Sugar Stamp.
What is it?
Hit me.
After you'd moved the scooter and wagon to the castle ruins, you must have flown back towards the forest entrance, passing over the crossroads along the way. But the other Royal Order wasn't there, right?
No, he wasn't. I went to look for him, and that was when I saw what happened at the statue.
When she saw Sweetie Belle trip Royal Order, supposedly. That still bothers me. But unless I can prove that that isn't what she saw, this won't get me anywhere. And Luna knows it.
If you're happy and you know it,
Let's return
clap
to
your
the
hands.
witness testimony.
As for what I did at the castle before I saw the crash, I removed the letter opener and put it in my bag. Then I went to deliver the letter.
Why are you so happy?
Miss Sugar Stamp, you're saying that you removed the letter opener, the one that had been stemming the blood flow from the victim's wound, from the body and placed it in your bag?
Yeah.
And you did this before you delivered the letter?
Yes. Why? Is there something wrong?
You bet there's something wrong with that statement. It's a clear contradiction.
Clear is oversaying it.
Contradiction?
On what grounds, defense? The witness clearly described her actions that night. She killed Royal Order, disposed of his armor, and moved the body, letter opener and all, to the castle. All to pin the crime on Turning Page and Scootaloo. Afterwards, she flew back to Sakura's hut in order to deliver that letter. I see no contradictions in her movements.
Me neither.
It's not her movements that are contradictory. It's the letter that was in her bag. Or more accurately, the envelope.
The envelope?
Did you say
Sugar
the
Stamp said
envelope?
she placed the letter opener in her bag after she'd moved the body, and that after doing so, she went to deliver the letter. If that's the case, we can reasonably assume that the letter, or rather the envelope containing it, was also in her bag. But if that's the case, then we'd expect to see something else.
Blood.
After all, look at the inside of the bag. It's coated in
Ah.
blood from the weapon.
That's smart. That
Yet,
is very
when
smart.
we look at the envelope, there's not a single trace of blood.
Diva, why are you scared? Why are you scared, Diva?
If that's the contradiction, defense, color me not impressed in the slightest. The
Bruh.
witness could have simply gotten the time she delivered the letter mixed up.
Yes, that's it. I must have delivered the letter before
Stop
I took out the
agreeing
letter
with
opener from the
everything.
body. So before I arrived at the castle ruins.
You're just agreeing with everything.
Sorry, but that just isn't possible.
Explain, defense.
Do you remember what we uncovered yesterday regarding when the letter was delivered? First, the fact that we found this letter in the first place tells us that Sakura hadn't yet retrieved it. According to a friend of hers, Sakura would have collected her mail from earlier that day as soon as it was delivered. This tells us that on the day of the murder, this letter wasn't in the mailbox.
Oh,
If it
shoot.
was, Sakura would have collected it when she returned to her hut that night.
Then when, pray tell, was it delivered?
That leads me to my second point, Prosecutor Luna. When we found this letter yesterday, we also found the mail that had been delivered that morning. That mail was in far better condition than this letter. So this letter must have been delivered before yesterday's mail and gotten dirtied as a result. Knowing that, and knowing that it hadn't been in the mailbox when Sakura returned to her hut, we can conclude that this letter arrived on the night of the murder itself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Why, yes. I actually do
I
recall
don't.
that.
Are you surprised or something?
It was established that the letter could only have arrived that night and not any time prior, wasn't it?
Right.
I guess
But
so.
if you'll also recall, Sakura testified that she'd waited for Scootaloo and Turning Page to return for about half an hour, from 9:45 to 10:10 p.m.
10, 10!
At 10:15, she had returned to her hut and was just about to turn in. She heard a clanging sound, so she went out to investigate.
Furthermore, we also learned yesterday that Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon also heard a clanging sound at the exact same time, 10:15.
10:15
It's a good
was when
time.
Sugar
10:15 is a
killed Royal
great
Order.
time.
She said she did so by kicking him hard in the side to stagger him, then stabbing him in the head. Her kicking him made a loud, metallic sound.
Which was most likely the clang that Zecora, Diamond Tiara, and Silver Spoon heard.
Therefore, the murder occurred right before Zecora left her hut, meaning that the letter could only have been delivered after she left, not before. Thus, the letter would have been in the bag with the bloody letter opener, rendering the idea that the envelope got no traces of blood on it impossible!
Whew. God dang.
Indeed. But then, why does no blood exist on the envelope?
Dude, I'm the judge here.
You don't mean to say...
I do, Prosecutor Luna. Your Honor, we agree that it's impossible for there to be no blood on this
Explain
envelope.
it to me like I'm
correct?
4, please.
Yes.
Continue,
I find
continue,
it a
continue.
perplexing situation.
Sam,
True.
Sam.
And one that we can solve if we just consider one other possibility. At the time that the letter was in the bag, the letter opener did not have any blood on it at any point.
It didn't have any blood on it.
Huh.
But how can that be?
Because
she didn't
of
murder.
one simple fact. The letter opener was not used to kill Royal Order.
Then why does it have blood on it? Oh, gee, why do you slam it
It's just a
twice?
fabricated piece of evidence used to support Sugar Stamp's story.
And if that's the case,
Yes.
then Sugar Stamp's confession about her killing Royal Order and pinning the blame on
All
the kids.
fake.
Exactly. Her confession is a complete and utter fabrication
Thank
in and
you.
of itself.
Thank you. Thank you.
Order! Order in the court!
I would like a thank you
Miss
in
Sykes,
Bluebell ice
this
cream,
is
please.
astounding! You mean to say that this witness has been lying to the court this whole time?
Why, of
I am,
course.
Your Honor.
Objection!
Why wouldn't she be?
Defense!
Oh, jeez.
That is absolutely preposterous of you to claim.
Are you
Need
sure?
I remind you that the blood found on the letter opener matched Royal Order's? It could only have gotten there when the witness stabbed him with it.
Objection! That doesn't explain why the envelope has no blood on it. So
It's
long
true.
as that contradiction exists, we cannot accept the letter opener was the murder weapon.
I'm inclined to agree, Prosecutor Luna.
Yeah.
The when is not as important as the why here.
Then perhaps we need to clarify both questions.
What do you mean?
Your Honor, I believe now would be a good time for us to re-summon the lead detective,
Let's
Private Eye, to
go.
the stand.
So
He should be
private.
able to clarify once and for all these details surrounding the letter opener and the blood found on it.
Yes, that would make sense. Very well. Let Private Eye back onto the witness stand, please.
How's my guy doing? What's going
He
on?
looks nervous, as expected.
Are you
Forgive
okay?
me, my lord, but for what reason have I been summoned?
The Lord.
Prosecutor Luna
My
has
lord, I
requested
forgot
that
about
you
that.
provide testimony.
She has. About what?
We would like you to testify regarding the forensics surrounding the murder weapon, the letter opener. The Golden Pixie has suggested that it cannot be the murder weapon. You are to demonstrate why it must be, Detective.
I see. Very well.
Okay. Okay.
If it would please the court.
Okay. Okay.
Truthfully, it's a rather open and shut matter. The blood found on the letter opener belonged to the victim, meaning it must be the murder weapon. More than that, though, if you take a look at the head wound, you'll find that it matches the shape of the letter opener. The helmet was found at the river's mouth of Froggy Bottom Bog. It has a hole matching the size of the weapon, further supporting Miss Sugarstamp's testimony. If it's all a lie, then the blood, wound, hand and helmet would all have to be some sort of fabrication.
You see, Golden Pixie?
I do
The
not
facts
see
are
Golden
irrefutable.
Pixie.
No matter how you look at it, that letter opener is the murder weapon, meaning Sugar Stamp is the true killer.
No.
I'm not so sure about that, Prosecutor Luna. We've already established her testimony is suspect at best. Wouldn't it be wrong of us to assume all the supposed facts are irrefutable?
Yeah.
So
Oh.
you still intend to go down this route?
Yes, of course I do.
I do.
I'm more smart than you.
I see.
Thank you for your testimony, Detective. Defense, you may begin your cross-examination.
Both the hole in the helmet and the wound match the letter opener, and the blood matches the victim's. So, if the letter opener is fake evidence, how would all of that be possible?
A third
There's
clone.
only one thing I can think of.
Truthfully, it's a rather open and shut matter. The blood found on the letter opener belonged to the victim, meaning it must be the murder weapon.
How do we know for certain the blood belonged to the victim?
Testing.
Because, Miss Sykes, several ponies tested it individually.
Testing.
There's no
1, 2,
doubting
1,
the
2.
same consensus being reached by so many.
What do you mean by several ponies tested it individually? You mean like they all just like took a look at it and be like, yep, that's a Royal Order's blood?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Surely you knew this already, Golden Pixie.
No.
Why are you insisting on this useless prattling?
It's not useless. It's the
You're
tried and true
useless.
method of the Right Anything Agency. Private Eye, the blood may match the victims, but that alone isn't enough to prove that the letter opener is the murder weapon.
I would agree with that, Miss Sykes. Which is why... More than that, though, if you take a look at the head wound, you'll find that it matches the shape of the letter opener.
So you're saying that the wound's shape matches that of the letter openers? How can you be so certain?
After we found the letter opener in Miss Sugarstamp's bag in Canterlot, along with the blood, we conducted 2 tests. The first was the blood test, which came back positive for Royal Order. The second involved examining the wound itself to look for any notable characteristics which might match a certain weapon.
And what were some of those notable characteristics?
One was the presence
Very, very extremely unrelated, like not like totally not even in the realm of possibility of being related to this thing at all. But I would like to say that I have a metal spoon. Yeah, I have a metal spoon, and I have it rested on an empty cupcake box. Now, I'll let you figure out why I have a metal spoon rested on an empty cupcake box. And guess what? I won't even tell you what the flavor of the last cupcake was. Go and figure that one out.
presence of track marks found in the victim's head.
Track marks?
Stab!
Yes, these
There
are
you
the
go.
marks that a stabbing weapon, such as a knife, might leave when it is thrust into a body.
Just runs over
If
the
weapon
body.
has a distinct style to it, it will leave trace impressions. Within the wound, we managed to find several impressions that match those found on the letter opener in Miss Sugarstamp's bag. Along with that, on the outside of the wound, we did not find a hilt impression. The letter opener does not have a hilt. So
Hilt?
that is another match. Though not quite as substantial as the previous one, admittedly.
The heck do you mean a hilt?
I guess that would be pretty indicative of it being the weapon. So that proves the body was actually stabbed with
Oh, I'm
the
in
letter
such a
opener.
comfortable position.
No use trying to debunk that. The question is...
Oh yeah.
When did that happen?
Let's continue. Detective, what else supports Sugar Stamp's confession?
The helmet was found at the river's mouth of Froggy Bottom Bog. It has a hole matching the size of the weapon, further supporting Miss Sugarstamp's testimony.
But only the helmet itself was found, right?
That's correct.
But not the
That's
armor.
correct.
Wouldn't the armor be a stronger contender for supporting her testimony?
It would.
It's a fair point.
But as I understand it, Miss Sugarstamp testified that she disposed of the entire armor set in the river. Given that we found the helmet at the mouth of the river, it seems logical to assume the rest flowed out into the bog and sank.
Which would support Sugar's testimony, but at the same time, it conveniently removes the need to prove definitively that the rest of the armor was there at all. Doesn't it?
Gotta find the rest of that armor,
The helmet
boy.
was there, which matches Sugarstamp's testimony, suggesting it's the truth. And if it isn't,
You may strike me down.
if it's all a lie, then the blood, wound, and helmet would all have to be some sort of fabrication.
Some sort of fabrication, you say? I assume you don't mean that the helmet would have to be fake.
No, that would be a bit much. I suppose I mean that some other aspect of it would have to be fabricated, if not the helmet itself.
Some other aspect? Like, say, where it was found? Or perhaps more specifically, how it was brought to where it was found?
Jeez, she really leaned into that one.
I suppose that could be one way, yes.
Golden Pixie.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell me you're suggesting.
Oh,
So you
I'm
admit it could be a
suggesting,
possibility,
alright.
Detective. Instead of getting there by river, that helmet could have been carried to the scene and placed there?
No, that's quite impossible, Miss Sykes.
Oh? And why would that be?
The bog itself, where the helmet was found, was not considered relevant until the end of the previous trial. It was sealed off once that was determined. For some pony to have brought it there for us to find, they would have had to bypass that seal. An impossibility, I'm afraid.
What
Is that
seal?
right? Private Eye, could you amend your testimony and add what you just said?
Uh-oh, she's
Miss
gonna make an
Sykes.
objection. Probably.
No one knew the bog was related to the crime scene until the previous trial, after which it was sealed off. No pony could have entered to plant the helmet.
Objection! Private Eye, I'm sorry to say that you're completely wrong about that last statement.
Is that so?
It's true that the bog was sealed off at the end of the previous trial, but it's not true that no pony could have gotten in.
You sealed
One
every free
pony in
force to me, got
particular
in.
would have had access to the scene. And by having access, they would
Fair
have had the
devotion.
chance to bring the helmet there to plant it, all in order to support Sugarstamp's
Fair devotion.
testimony.
Diva. Diva.
You don't mean.
I
Who could this
mean...
pony be?
It's Diva.
There's only one answer, Your Honor. It's the pony who ordered that the bog be sealed off in the first place.
You?
Aye.
Private.
Private Eye?
Private? Trust is a fragile thing.
Order! Order! Order!
I would like some trust, please.
Miss Sykes, I am starting to get tired of these repeated accusations towards every witness.
Oh no.
As am I,
Uh-oh.
Your Honor.
Oh no.
Not only is this a reckless
Oh
act,
no.
it is
My
completely
sunglasses.
impossible.
Why is that, Prosecutor Luna?
You claim that the detective brought the helmet to the bog himself. How? His fellow officers were on the scene. They would no doubt have noticed if he'd brought the helmet with him.
That's true. They would have been able to notice.
Unless they were in
But
on it.
What if they had no reason to? No reason to think he was carrying the helmet with him.
What are you blabbering on about, Defense?
When Private Eye and his team went to the scene, he had in his possession something that he could have used to conceal the helmet. Take that!
What?
The victim's
Oh.
Private was the one who brought this case to the scene that day. He ordered that the
Oh,
force be
shoot.
sealed off and opened only when he arrived.
Oh,
Meaning,
shoot.
Private Eye could have easily stashed the helmet inside this case prior to arriving at the forest, bringing it along with no one the wiser.
Aw,
This is
shoot.
absurd.
Aw,
If
frick
it's so
nugget.
absurd, then let's ask the witness himself.
What in Equestria do you want me to say?
Well, why don't you repeat to the court your actions in the Force that day, including when you had the travel case with you? That should clear everything up.
Oh, he knows.
Not going to? That's fine. I think I've got a good enough handle on your movements to describe what you did. You and your team of investigators first went to the bog. You had the travel case with you because you had taken it from the police station after we requested to see it. Once you got it, you stashed the helmet inside. When you arrived at the bog, and while your team was busy investigating, you planted the helmet at the mouth of the river so that it would be found later. Then, you and your team went into the mirror pool cavern. You placed the travel case there, open on the cave floor, to show us when we arrived. That's how the helmet ended up being planted, and how, as you said, it was a fabrication. And that means that it no
You're
longer
done,
supports
son.
Sugar
You
Stamp's
played
testimony,
yourself.
which itself can now also be considered a complete fabrication.
You played yourself. You're stupid.
I refuse to accept this defense.
Uh-oh.
There's still one thing you haven't explained. The one thing that your entire theory is predicated on.
One thing?
The blood on the letter opener. All this time you've claimed that it's not the murder weapon. And now you've claimed that this helmet is also fake.
It's all
If it
fake.
is
It's all...
fake,
It's the
how do you
Matrix.
explain the blood?
It's the Matrix.
All right, Prosecutor Luna. I've got the evidence that explains that blood stain right here.
Wait a minute. Private Eye is the one who got the blood from Royal Order. The freaking cave, this episode. Private got the blood. He got the blood. He has blood, man.
Take that!
He's got the blood.
Defense? What is that?
I got him.
Is a blood sample I requested
so
Private
smart,
Eye give me
dude.
while we were waiting in the lobby before today's trial. It contains the blood of the victim,
I'm so
Royal
smart.
Order. Now, I'd asked Private Eye to get this blood sample in secret. The fact that it's here proves he certainly can conceal his movements. But let me ask this.
Sneaky son of a...
Where would Private Eye have to go in order to get the blood sample of a deceased murder victim?
Probably wherever the body had been autopsied.
And where would that be, Prosecutor Luna?
Canterlot.
Exactly.
He does go to Canterlot.
Royal Order was a member of the Royal Guard after all. So Canterlot was where he was undergoing an autopsy. And Canterlot?
Was also where Private Eye and his team apprehended Sugar Stamp, as well as where they discovered the bloody letter opener.
If he had the helmet with him while in Canterlot and got hold of a letter opener before arresting Sugar Stamp, then it would have been possible for him
To put the helmet on the body and stab it with the letter opener, leaving the hole in the helmet and a bloody weapon as proof that she'd killed Royal Order.
And that's why the scene was sealed off until Private Eye returned from Canterlot.
Damn! Damn, girl!
It was so he had all the time he needed to fabricate evidence to support Sugar Stamp's story. Objection!
Dude, I'm gonna throw the Bluebell ice cream homemade vanilla empty mini tub case, not case, tub, across my room. Now it shall join with the Dutch chocolate that lives oh so sweetly in my heart. Goodbye, my sweet.
Very elaborate.
Oh, she put some
Golden
power in
Pixie.
that one.
So you say that the entirety of Sugar Stamp's story is a complete lie? One that our dear detective helped to create?
I am, Prosecutor Luna.
Then what of the planner? Doesn't that support the fact that Miss Stamp really did meet with Royal Order that night?
Well, that's what we've been thinking at least. But something about that planner has been bugging me.
And what is that?
Your Honor,
See,
the
there's a
defense
bug
has just proven
on
that
the
the
thing.
legitimacy of two pieces of evidence, the helmet and the letter opener, have to be called into question. In large part, that is because of their association with Private Eye. This planner also shares that characteristic.
It does.
Miss Sykes, you mean to say But that would mean...
The whole travel case. The toothbrush.
And the writing in the journal matches royal orders.
Oh.
And double-check that one.
Oh, you liar. You sneaky. You shifty,
Honor,
sneaky
This
son of a
planner
batch
did not
of milk.
undergo testing by an entire forensic team. Instead, it has been tested by only one pony. Private Eye himself.
My word.
Giblets.
Your Honor, at this time, I do not think we can trust this witness's words as to the legitimacy of all the pieces of evidence he's handled. As such, the defense requests that the planner be retested immediately, and the horn writing inside be compared to that of both Royal Order and Private Eye.
I agree. That is definitely the best course of action. Prosecutor Luna.
See, here's the thing. You know what I've just realized? Lawkeeper Equity was going on this whole speech about trust. How they would get betrayed, basically. She outright said that somebody would betray them. No questions asked. And here we are, Private Eye. But we know that Private Eye and Lawkeeper Equity are in cahoots, basically. They know each other, and they've been planning out something. So that's really interesting. Huh.
Luna, do you have any objections?
Sad Tims.
Prosecutor Luna?
These are very sad Tims.
I mean, the prosecution has no objections to the defense's request, Your Honor.
Very well. Bailiff, see to it that the planner be retested.
Now that I think about it, wasn't
Well
this
then,
supposed to be a trial for
Prosecutor
Sudabel?
Luna, have the planner and horn writing been tested?
They have, Your Honor.
And what are the results?
The horn writing in the planner does not match that of Royal Order, but rather that of Private Eye.
There you have it, Your Honor. Definitive proof that not only did Private Eye tamper with the facts of this case, but also that Sugar Stamp's story cannot be taken as the truth.
Yes? What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, now, that is...
It's all a fabrication. Sonata? Oh!
Devotion?
Deva.
You are
Diva.
as persistent now
Oh,
as you
no.
were yesterday, Miss Sykes. It's almost admirable.
Oh no, Diva.
Almost. What's with her all of a sudden? She seems colder.
Colder.
Your Honor?
Just like
think
the
I can
ice cream.
explain,
Just
at
like the
very
bluebell ice
least,
cream.
Why Sugar Stamp's story has so many problems with it.
You can?
Oh no.
But how? The defense has just proven that it's all a lie.
It's not a lie, Your Honor, but I do believe that it's a story affected by all the events of that night.
Affected by...
I'm sure I don't have to point out that seeing the murder was a traumatic experience for all of those involved. Sugar Stamp may not be able to remember all of the details clearly, such as the actual weapon she used to commit the crime.
It's true that my memory of that night is a little fuzzy, but I remember one thing for certain. I killed Royal Order. I know I did.
Yes. I suppose that it is reasonable to assume some degree of memory loss occurred.
I can also explain the detective's actions, though he'd need to see if I am correct.
I would.
Private Eye must have known of Sugar's guilt, but aside from her confession, he did not have the right amount of evidence to support it. With no way to prove her guilt, he decided he would have to take matters into his own hooves. And that's why.
He forged evidence. Just like Phoenix Wright did that one time.
I see. My lord,
Yes, Detective?
it pains me to have to admit this. But what Miss Devotion has just postulated was indeed my thought process.
See, you're all just agreeing.
So you're saying...
You're not speaking for yourself. You're all just
You're
agreeing.
really saying...
It's true. Every word. I confess. I planted the helmet and fabricated the weapon, as the defense stated. This was done for 2 reasons. To bring justice to Royal Order, and to prove the guilt of the true killer.
Why is Lara like
Sugar
vibrating?
stamp.
Or like being blurry? Wait, no, that's just my screen.
This
sorry.
is a rather unprecedented series of events, I must admit.
Series of unfortunate events?
Where does it leave us?
Your Honor,
It leaves us nowhere, defense.
Hey,
What do you
and
mean?
I say, hey, what a
All
wonderful
this
kind of
while,
day.
you have been focusing your efforts on trying to disprove Sugarstamp's confession. What we've just heard from both Fair Devotion and Private Eye, however, discounts your entire premise. We're back where we started.
But...
More than that, though, we've gone off on a completely separate tangent thanks to your
Yeah,
antics.
wasn't this supposed to be
Need
about
I
Sweetie
remind you
Belle?
what this trial is about?
Yeah, about Sweetie Belle.
This trial...
Sugarstamp may have indeed confessed to killing Royal Order, but we are not here to determine her guilt on the matter. Today, we are here to determine the guilt of Miss Sweetie Belle in regards to her...
See, what did I say? What did I... God, you guys are on it, man. God, this writing team is so good.
own crime. You should attempt to focus on that, and not this other matter.
Prosecutor Luna raises a fair point. This trial is
dropped my
about the alleged
sunglasses.
murder of Royal Order by Miss Sweetie Belle. And as such, we must focus on that case before diving into another.
I picked up my sunglasses.
No. I know Sugarstamp's confession is a complete sham.
It's totally
And
a
I know
sham,
that her
dude.
previous testimony can't be trusted, especially if it's reliant on her phony confession. But how can I demonstrate that definitively if Fair Devotion and Private Eye have now testified in support of what she said?
Defense?
Yes, Prosecutor Luna?
Do you want to
You
hug?
appear to be at a loss.
Is it really that obvious?
Do you want to
Perhaps
hug?
you and the court would benefit from a quick refresher.
Proceed, Prosecutor Luna.
Thus far, we have heard testimony from 2 witnesses, Fair Devotion and Sugarstamp. They claim to have witnessed the defendant accidentally kill Royal Order at the statue. We have also heard the reason why there were 2 Royal Orders that night. It was because of the affair he was having with Sugarstamp. Earlier, the defense postulated that this affair may have been part of why Fair Devotion decided to venture into the Everfree Forest after her husband. That matter has not been settled, however, due to the defense attacking Sugarstamp's confession and questioning its legitimacy. For us to get back on track, then, we should focus on these witnesses' initial testimonies once more.
Ah,
And perhaps more
man.
specifically, we should focus on Miss Fair Devotion's testimony. Does that sound reasonable, defense?
Fine, Mom. Jeez.
I see where this is going.
God, she's so menacing in the... Oh.
Surely the
Private
defense isn't about to name me a suspect because of this affair, and discredit my testimony all to save her own client. Is she?
It's not just Luna anymore. Now Fair is trying to guide me as well. But to have me name her a suspect... Why? Twilight, do you have any idea what we should do?
Well, frankly, I
Well,
think we should just
I
give
mean,
up.
It seems like we need to hear more testimony in order to back up our claim again. But we can't hear from Sugarstamp since she'll just double down on her confession. And Private Eye's already confessed to planting evidence to support her confession because he believes it to be true.
In other words, further testimony about what Sugar Stamp supposedly did wouldn't help us. The witnesses or the prosecution could easily back up her confession.
Right. So, maybe if we heard testimony about something else that happened that night? From some pony else?
Something from some pony else?
Yeah, and if I understand what Princess Luna's trying to do, she'd want us to hear from Fair Devotion.
Deva.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
God, she's so menacing.
I mean, it does make the most amount of sense, doesn't it?
It does, but I'm still not sure that's the right step to take. There's still something off about Fair Devotion. I can't place my finger on it, but it's enough to make me hesitant to follow Luna's suggestion.
Yeah,
Well,
I feel you on that.
What else can we do? This seems like the only course of action we have left. And Princess Luna's trying to grant us as many chances as she can to help Sweetie Belle.
Sweetie Belle. She's the key to all of this, I'm sure of it. More than Fair Devotion or Sugar Stamp. I need to find a way to get her to speak up.
Defense, the court will have your...
See, what really bothers me as well is that Luna, during the whole dream sequencing in the last episode, Luna just straight up said that, hey, the murderer could either be Sugar Stamp or Deva, Fair Devotion. Which really bugs me, because not only did she not mention Sweetie Belle, which, you know, is the main pony being accused of the murder here, but she included Fair Devotion. And using logic and everything, we could really just... there's no evidence pointing to Fair Devotion really being the murderer here. So, why would she say that? Why would she say the murder was either Fair Devotion or Sugar Stamp? Like, it's hard to articulate why I am bothered by this so much. Because again, Sweetie's on trial here. Fair Devotion's not. It makes me feel like if Fair Devotion was the one on trial here, if Fair Devotion was accused of being the murderer, that Luna would instead have said, like, Sweetie Belle and Sugar Stamp. But then again, probably not. See, I can't really explain it, but it bothers me a lot.
Answer. Will you hear additional testimony from Miss Fair Devotion?
Before I answer that, Your Honor, I'd like to ask the defendant something.
Ooh.
Miss Sykes.
Very well, defense. You may.
Sweetie Belle. After everything we've just heard, is there anything you would like to add? Anything that comes to mind?
She's not gonna say anything, is she?
Still relying on your right to remain silent, I see. Very well,
Sweetie
then.
Belle, Sweetie Belle, Sweetie
Your
Belle.
Honor, the defense is ready to declare its next course of action.
You are? Then that means you'd like to hear more testimony from Fair Devotion?
Yeah, let's hear
I
testimony from
suppose if the
Sweetie Belle.
defense really requires more from me.
No, Your Honor, we won't.
Wait, what?
Stupid.
You don't?
What game are you playing now, defense?
Oh, I'm done playing games, Luna. Yours, Fair's, Sweetie's. It doesn't matter anymore. I'll force the truth out, no matter what I have to do. No more secrets. It's time we finally heard Sweetie's side of the story. And if she won't cooperate willingly,
I'll smack her!
I'll make her. Your Honor, at this point, the defense
Dude, I'm gonna get myself another headache.
would like to step down from defending Sweetie Belle.
That was really loud. No, shoot. Oh my god. Holy shoot, man. Oh my my god.
Athena?
Athena!
You were...
Holy shoot!
Athena? What are you doing?
Getting
That's
you to
what I'd
speak.
like to know. Miss
Getting you to
Sykes, what
speak.
are you doing?
Have you lost your mind? You can't just step down now!
Oh, but I can.
Actually, I can, Prosecutor Luna. I retain the right to decide who I defend and who I do not.
But you can't! What's gonna happen to me if you don't defend me?
Oh, and now you want to ask that question?
I'd imagine that you'll be found guilty, thanks to the testimonies of Sugar Stamp and Fair Devotion.
Miss Sykes, don't you think this is a bit rash?
Diva's right. You can't just quit now.
Double
Devotion.
slap.
You've already testified to having seen Sweetie Belle accidentally kill Royal Order. The same goes for you too, Sugar Stamp. Neither of you can back out now.
Vroom vroom. Private Eye, you want to say something?
Athena, you can't do this to Sweetie Belle. She's just a filly, for goodness sake. Have you thought this through at all?
Oh, I've fought
have,
it more than
Prosecutor
you
Luna.
have.
Believe me. And I can assure you that this is the only way for us to find the truth. The real truth.
The true kind of
But
love.
abandoning her...
If Sweetie Belle is willing to testify, then I'll remain as her defense.
Oh,
But I can't help some pony who won't even help themselves.
dude, she's
Miss
going at it,
Sykes.
man. She's going at it.
Please, Prosecutor Luna. I know this seems reckless of me, but I can assure you, I know what I'm doing. I know this is the way forward. The only way. Please? Trust me.
Trust. God, man.
I will try, Miss Sykes.
Even you, Princess Luna?
I am sorry, little one, but she raises a fair point. And it appears you must make a decision. Either you testify, or the defense formally steps down, and the prosecution does its duty.
Princess Twilight?
You gotta testify.
Please! You gotta help me! Don't let Athena do this!
You gotta testify.
Twilight.
Sweetie, just
I know
testify.
what this looks like, but we have to hear from Sweetie Belle somehow. This was the only way I could think of.
Yes, you're right. We have to hear from her.
Slap on the knee,
Does that
let's
mean-
go.
Princess Twilight? Your Honor, the co-counsel for the defense agrees with this decision.
Testify.
As such, unless Sweetie Belle chooses to testify, the defense will step down. No. Please, no.
Jeez, man. Jeez.
This is all rather unconventional.
These are
It's
unconventional
the right
times,
kind of
Your Honor. And
unconventional
sometimes
times.
they call for unconventional methods.
That's a good line right
So
there.
they do. Very well. The court accepts the defense's decision to step down.
Wait a
Fine. I'll do it.
Sweet.
I'll testify.
Ooh, that silence. Ooh. Let's do
Miss
this,
Sykes,
man.
I take it this means you will continue on as the defendant's lawyer?
I will, Your Honor.
Duly noted. Now, Prosecutor Luna, do you have any objections to hearing the defendant testify?
I do not, Your Honor.
Good. In which case, I call for a 20-minute recess to allow all parties to prepare themselves.
We're not gonna hear
When we
Sweetie Belle's
reconvene,
testimony
we will hear
until-
Sweetie Belle's testimony.
till the next episode, aren't we?
Hope you don't regret it.
Court is adjourned.
Whew. Oh my god. I need a breather. Damn, alright. Okay. After credits, though? After credits, though? There's no after credits, are there? Damn it! Damn it! There's... I swear. There will be after credits. There will be after credits. One of these... That was a cool end, though. That was a really cool end, though. Well, good news is that, my headache is gone. If you guys watched the last part, you guys would know if I had a headache, and now it's... I wouldn't say it's completely gone, but I would say it's pretty much gone. And, you know, I'm now gonna throw the Bluebell ice cream, brand homemade, trademark, vanilla flavored, natural and artificial flavor added the ice cream, across my room. I did it. Are you guys proud of me?